Mhm.
Hello, everyone. We are very pleased to have very Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul with us today. Um, to have this teaching on Buddha nature, it's a great honor for us to host him again. He's really a fantastic teacher. Just a quick
We are very pleased to
material
have
announcement about
Venerable Geshe Dorji
translation.
Damdul
So.
with us today.
You have to select
Um, to have
the
his
English
teaching
channel.
on Buddha nature,
I
it's
think
a
that my
great
sound
honor
is not
for us.
good. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's fine.
It's okay. Okay.
There was just
So
someone.
just a quick announcement. If you are English, you have to choose the English channel to understand when questions are translated from French to English. And if you're French, you have to choose a French channel. Donc, je vais le dire aussi en français, juste une annonce rapide sur sur la traduction, de bien choisir le canal français. Dans la traduction, vous avez un petit icône avec un globe, un globe dans le menu. Voilà, je prends pas plus de temps. Je me réjouis d'avoir Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul avec nous aujourd'hui. So I'm not taking more time. I'm really very happy to have Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul with us today. Thank you.
Sorry, Tibet Augustine, do you do the projection for the prayers, please? Thank you so much. So, preventive prayers, we will set proper motivation, which consists of three parts, while being mindful of both aspects, the object being visualized and the manner in which you visualize it. First, the refuge field. In the space in front of you, visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or any other enlightened beings you regard with veneration. They are looking upon you with immense kindness and unconditional love, just as a mother looks upon her only child. Bodhicitta field. Visualize seated on either side of you, your kind parents, mother on the left and father on the right. Additionally, you are accompanied by all other dear mother sentient beings living none aside, and you are leading them in this practice. The purpose of the practice: to manifest the Buddha nature within you, which is the ultimate source of happiness by removing the two mental obscurations, afflictive obscurations, consisting of the affliction, the negative emotions, contaminated karmas, and their corresponding active seeds, and connective obscurations, the subtle stains, inactive latencies of afflictions and contaminated karmas. We recite the following verses while mentally invoking their profound meanings and associated experiences. And choose by great compassion, you took the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And choose by great compassion, you took the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And choose by great compassion, you took the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. Sangye che chong so ki chuk nam la chong chu padu dagni kyap su chi dagi jin so ge pe tsuk nam ki rola penche sangye lupa shu. Sangye che chong so ki chuk nam la chong chu padu dagni kyap su chi dagi jin so ge pe tsuk nam ki rola penche sangye lupa shu. Sangye chechang soki chok nam la chonchu padu dagni kyap suchi dagi jin soge petsu nam kye drora penche sangye rupa shu. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddhas, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through a knowledge of whole lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which through a knowledge of paths causes helping migrators to achieve aims of the world, and through a possession of which helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one was transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one was eliminated with a web of conceptualizations and is endowed with divine bodies of the vast and the profound, with nations for the forever noble light rays to the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The sense of dependent origination mantra, we will recite it with Geshe-la's recording 3 times.
Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha.
The meaning of the 10th Ningpo mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the Great Seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration free, clear light and non-composite, Such is the nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to phantom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mover of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I pay obeisance. The forces of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain empty in teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negatives of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Instruction for unparting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you're not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, to the founder, the undomed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct. Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the undomed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from Shaka clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you passed out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, with the motion like a golden mountain, famed like blazes in the 3 words, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Thus free like you, the 3 words are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior, having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all things, subdue the 4 thoughts, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, battered by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Now we will recite the Heart Sutra mantra 7 times with the Geshe-la's recording.
Deyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvaha Tirtha Om Gate Gate Paragate 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 Parasamgate Bodhisvaha.
Okay. Thank you, Venerable Elizabeth La, and the Venerables Tenzin Sherab La and Tenzin Chuing La, and there's another Venerable. Okay, I cannot see on the screen. There was and one. Okay, and all the participants here, I can see many the faces which are familiar to me, and my very dear friend Jimbala, and all my friends, Anna Sophie, and Old Senior, Old Junior, and against all my friends here. Okay, Virginia, and Ostach. Okay, I can see many of you. Thank you. It's a great joy for me to be with you here. And so thank you, Anna Sophie, for leading the prayers. Thank you. And so the topic for today is the Buddha nature. And before we do that, we will take the aspirational Bodhisattva vow together. I can see that many of you are already very familiar with all these concepts, very, very precious. And let us take the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, followed by shamatha practice, meditation. So for this, first, let us, as indicated by Anna Sophia, that let us reinforce the visualization of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us as so loving, caring, and embracing. And also let us reinforce the visualization of your two grandparents and all your family members with you, and all dear mothers and beings living on the side, all the trillions of creatures in the water bodies, in the oceans, or the seas, and the tiniest from the amoeba, unicellular amoeba, to the biggest of the blue whales, and the infinite creatures in the forest, in the wilderness, from the tiniest of the insects to the biggest of the elephants, and so forth. Think of all of them, and they all have the Buddha nature. So with this in mind, with the desire to awaken your Buddha nature fully, that you become totally fearless, you experience total the infinite happiness, and then from that experience share with all the dear sentient beings how to experience fearlessness and infinite happiness. So with this in mind, let us turn to the screen sharing, for to take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining us through your inspiration. And all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. And the meanings, I'm going to quickly explain these two verses. The first verse is given that we are making a promise to awaken the Buddha nature fully within us. That at the moment we are like our mind is like a very dirty mind, defiled mind. But however dirty the water is, you become to know that the true nature of the mind is so extremely pure, like a crystal clear water. And yet it is not visible because being obscured by the adventitious metal stains. And we are going to do things to unfold this nature so that we experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. So with this in mind, for example, like say now in France, and looking at how you are wearing your clothes, I can see that you must be the outside. The temperature must be very cold. Here in Delhi also, the temperature is very cold, getting cold, and then you are seeking the help of the heating system. You are seeking the help of the layers of jackets. So you are seeking the help, but the help that we get from these is very temporary. Like seeking help from the food, you eat the food, and then the evening or next morning again we'll feel hungry. This is all very temporary help. But so here we are seeking help from external things. Because of this external, for us the money becomes very important. For us the power becomes very important. For us the community becomes very important. Yet all these are very temporary. And where if we can retrieve the inner treasure, if we can retrieve this fully, then we don't have to rely on any external factors. Finally, for the heating system, why do we need a heating system? Because we feel cold. If you go out, you have to put layers and layers of the jackets. Why? We are feeling cold. When the inner treasures are unraveled, then all these they're feeling cold, feeling heated up, or hunger, thirst, and so forth. All these problems are over. When these are over, our dependence on external factors stop. The fearlessness and the infinite happiness, they're all guaranteed. So what are we doing at the moment? We're all turning to the outside. Heating system, cars, food, friends, and so once in a while birthday parties or family gatherings. So these are all external factors which come and disappear, which means that they're not reliable. And wise people will look for the treasure inside, awaken a wish that the feeling of the security, safety, and the joy becomes infinite and very reliable. It becomes 24/7. So therefore, our job is, while we pursue in this journey of unfolding your true nature inside, Buddha nature inside, we do have to depend on external factors. It doesn't mean that, okay, we just quit all the external factors. We do have to depend on external factors. Meanwhile, working to uncover the true nature inside. So these two things must happen in parallel. So with this in mind, a journey, ultimate journey, no matter what we're doing. Nowadays, I see that people who I know so well, some of them, they come to get deeper sense of the purpose of their life. And they said, oh, now whatever I do, some medical doctors, now whatever I do, they're all so trivial. And the real journey or the real purpose of my life is to awaken your own nature, the true nature, the Buddha nature, the topic which the Venerable Elizabeth kindly suggested. So uncovering your Buddha nature, this is so important. And if that happens, there's no room for depression, anxiety, anguish, and so forth. But of course, till we manage to do that, then external factors, they play a very important role. We do have to take into consideration the need for external factors and to make sure that you are well taken care of. So the true journey should be the journey of unfolding your true nature, that is to become enlightened. That true nature inside, all the mental dirt, like the water, the dirt were all removed, and the purity of the water manifests within each one of us, whoever you are, male, female, young, old, educated, uneducated, east, west. It doesn't matter. Everybody has that capacity, the potential to manifest from which will make you totally fearless and infinite happiness with you. So this is journey. So because of this journey is an extremely important journey, even for a trivial, temporary, mundane journey, we require the help of other people. So this journey is the lifelong. This is the most important journey in the universe for everybody. So we require the greatest of the support. And the greatest of the support that we can think of is the Triple Gem. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Then the next is that they say, you made this journey. You made the plan, the blueprint, the plan. I want to become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. I seek the support of the Triple Gem, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Now the road to the enlightenment, that road must not be blocked by the boulders, fallen trees, and so forth. If they're blocked, again, you cannot move there. So this road is none other than your own mind. Your mind must be freed of the mental dirt. So, and how best to do that most effectively is by confessing the negativities, mental negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Okay, now the road is clear, but if your car does not have enough fuel, again, we cannot undertake the journey. So this car is none other than only mind, and your mind should have enough fuel of the virtues, enough fuel of the merit and the virtues to undertake this journey. So the best way by which to accumulate such enormous amount of virtues within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of others. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now the road is clear, your car is enough fuel. What kind of journey am I going to undertake? So the fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart, the journey of uncovering my Buddha nature. Okay, so with this in mind, so just believe it or not, you think of anybody else, anyone who says, oh, okay, I'm fighting for my election, or who says that, oh, I'm struggling with my career, or a student saying that, oh, I'm sitting for my exam. Exam for what? So that later on I get a good job. Good job for what? So that I can earn something. Earn for what? Earn so that I can feed the body and I can give me comfort. Comfort for what? So that my mind gets the comfort and it is ease. And somebody who's fighting for election. Why are you fighting for elections? If I win, then I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy. So, again, you are seeking your mental happiness. And for somebody who is struggling to become CEO of a company, why? So that I can have a power, I can have money. What do you do with the money? Money so that I will get a good house, good place, and the people will be around me, and future medical situations and so forth. So these for what? So that I'll be happy. Again, say the power for what? So that people listen to me. If they listen to me, I'll not be confronted by other people, so that I feel at ease. So finally, whatever anybody's doing, whether you're a believer, whether non-believer, anybody, whatever they're doing, some people, they cheat on others. Some people, they bully others. Why do you bully? So by bullying, then I get this thing, that I get the power. I'm able to teach a lesson to that person. What is it if you're a teacher? I'll be happy. Again, somebody cheats on the others. Why do you cheat? No, because that I love this. I want this. I want this over that. So what is it if you get this? I'll be happy. Whether you are cheating, whether somebody's going to embezzlement, or whether you are fighting for political powers, or whether somebody goes into gangsters, whether somebody's a footballer, musician, vice chancellor, or the presidents, the prime ministers, kings, father, mother, children, students, whatever you are doing, essentially doing that for to get rid of your miseries and to have the happiness. But in reality, 99.99% of the people in the world, leaving aside the animals, insects, for them it is all just for the temporary, say, the survival. But for even for 99.99% of the human beings, out of the 8 billion human beings today, what they are doing is just to look for the temporary as a survival. That's it. So, and that survival ends up into seeking happiness. And happiness, if you ask, what kind of happiness you are seeking? Like very reliable happiness or temporary, you get it, disappear, again you get it, you disappear, you continue struggle. Believe it or not, 99% of all our earnings, all our time, resources that we invest, they're all just to survive this body. Your car, to carry this body to somewhere else. Your house, to shelter this body. The food, to survive this body. Heating system, to keep this body warm. Cooling system, to keep this body cool. It's just for this body, to be very honest. This is how we are wasting our time. We are wasting resources and so forth. So now the wise people, while these are not to be neglected, at the same time, why do we have to invest so much of time, exhausted, life after life, exhausted, shedding tears. Wise people will look for ways and means to stop these tears, stop these problems, for good, for yourself and for others. So this is what Prince Siddhartha, 2,500 years ago, he did in India, and he succeeded. And this is how we are now being benefited by his teachings, his wisdom shared with us. So with this in mind, we are going to emulate this great teacher, Prince Siddhartha, who later became Buddha Shakyamuni, the awakened one. So with this in mind, let us recite these verses together. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Buddhist practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Buddhist practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Buddhist practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Buddhist practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Buddhist practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Buddhist practices. Okay, now we will do 5 minutes of shamatha meditation, and I see that most of you already know what is meditation, and to make it just very quick explanation, the 4 points to remember: 1, the body posture, and number 2, the focal point, number 3, identifying the errors of meditation, number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. The first, the body posture. So if possible, we sit cross-legged. If not, don't worry. Sit in position whichever is more comfortable. Only thing is that the body should not be leaning against the support. Just keep it upright. Keep the body upright and not hunchback. Get upright. And your head tilted forward a little bit. And your eyes not closed. Eyes half open. 45 degrees cast down. And you breathe normally. And the tip of the tongue touching the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth. And your right hand on the left hand, Two thumbs joining, forming triangle. Place the two hands on your lap in a restful state. So this is body posture. And the whereas if you have backache problem, knee problem, and so forth, feel free to sit in the most comfortable position. The pain should not hamper your meditation, successful meditation. Next is the object meditation or focal point meditation. Two things. One, just count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Combined together is the one cycle. Again, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what you're going to do for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, for the younger ones in your 30s or 20s, your breath will be like, cycles will be like the 60, and those who are elder like my age would be like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, depending on the length of your breath. Usually as you grow older, the breath becomes shorter. Okay. Then while we count the breath, see if you can also simultaneously focus on a tiny white dot between nose and upper lip. These two things happening together, multitasking. Number 3, identify the errors of meditation. Errors of meditation, broadly speaking, 2: mental laxity and excitement. Mental laxity is the inactivity of the mind. Mind becomes sluggish and mind becomes withdrawn and heavy. And the mental excitement is the opposite of this state, which is the overexcitement, the overactivity of the mind, where the mind becomes scattered, distracted here and there. These two are the problems. Should any of these two things happen, apply the remedies. And the remedy is twofold. One, introspection, and the other one is the mindfulness. Introspection is to keep an eye on your mind to see if your mind is still meditating or distracted or in relaxed state. And if you see that your mind is distracted or in a relaxed state, then apply apply the mindfulness. Mindfulness is like a rope. Apply your mindfulness to the object of the meditation, to your mind, and bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation. That is the application of the mindfulness. Ready? 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. The Buddha Shakyamuni in Bodh Gaya, after becoming enlightened, Buddha remained silent for 49 days, which most of you already heard about it. Buddha remained silent for 49 days. And the kings of god and goddesses, Indra, Brahma, they were wondering. They had clairvoyance. Through the clairvoyance, they could see that Prince Siddhartha already became enlightened, and now remaining silent in meditation, not giving any teachings. So the two kings of the god and goddesses, Indra and Brahma, they decided to come down. They descended on the planet Earth, then went to the Buddha, paid respect to the Buddha, prostrated to Buddha, and then with folded hands made the request, please do remain silent, turn the wheel of that Dharma. And then the Buddha uttered one verse in Tibetan, Sabshi Tudevisu Dumaje, Duzi Tabu Chushi Kuye, Sula Tenya Kwar Minube, Mimanaga Nasu Nebracha. In English, profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-light and non-composite. Such is the nectar that Dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. In other words, to simply put, the Buddha indicated that this teaching, the reality the Buddha discovered, unfolding of which made the Buddha attain enlightenment, this teaching was so profound that he could hardly find anybody who can understand this concept or this truth. So better it is for him to return to the woods in silence, in seclusion. Indra and Brahma, once again, Brahma offering the wheel to the Buddha, symbolic of requesting the Buddha to turn the wheel of Dharma. And Indra offered a conch to the Buddha, symbolic of requesting the Buddha to please blow the conch of the Dharma, the wisdom of the Dharma for all the sentient beings, that the beings will be liberated from samsara. Okay, so here there's a little bit of the clarification required. People, if you go into the study of the classical Indian pantheons, Indian texts of the different traditions, like Samkhya, Vedanta, Vaisheshik, Mimamsa, and so forth, you will see that the Indra, Brahma, they were depicted as the Hindu gods. And here, they descended to make a request to the Buddha, please turn the wheel of Dharma. So what is this? So this requires explanation. Indra and Brahma, it's not that there's only one Indra, one Brahman. There are innumerable Indras with innumerable world systems, innumerable Brahmas. And of these, some of them follow the Buddha's teachings, and some of them follow their own traditions, and they're different kinds. And most likely, some are also very atheist, some are non-believers. So this is one that we need to keep in mind. So with this in mind, then finally the Buddha accepted their request, and Buddha turned to and headed towards Varanasi. And then the 3 turns of Dharma happened. And I'm not going to go too much into detail. The first turn of Dharma happened in Varanasi when he gave the first teaching, referred to as the first turn of Dharma, and the subject matter of which is the Four Noble Truths. Then the second turn of Dharma, the Buddha was in Rajgir, gave the second turn of Dharma, which is predominantly on the teaching of the ultimate reality as presented by the Madhyamaka philosophers. Then finally, Buddha turned to Vaishali. So this is the third temple of Dharma we are directly related to with respect to the topic today, Buddha nature. Third temple of Dharma in the land Vaishali. The Buddha presided over the gathering, and also present were the 10 bodhisattvas, 10 and the 10, 10 bodhisattvas of the 10 bhumi, 10 bhumi or 10 ground bodhisattva realizations. So, and then alongside the monks, nuns, the lay devotees, they were all there. And these 10 bodhisattvas, they asked 10 different questions. One of which is the very popular question where the bodhisattva, Pramat Samudgada, he stood up and asked the Buddha. In the first 10 noble of Dharma, the Buddha taught that the Four Noble Truths exist truly. In the second 10 noble of Dharma, Buddha taught nothing exists truly. And then the Buddha being the full awakened one, there's no confusion. There must be a reason why you taught these two superficially contradictory teachings. There must be a reason. What could that reason be? And to this, the Buddha responded by interpreting his own first two teachings. So that interpretation in the form of response which the Buddha gave to the Bodhisattva, the Brahmana Samudgada, that came to be known as the third noble of Dharma in the context, in relation, in association with the first and second noble of Dharma. But when we speak about the third noble of Dharma, we should not confine this to only to this part, because third noble of Dharma constitutes of the Buddha's responses to 10 different questions. One of the questions was on Buddha nature. So, in this context, how the three turnings of Dharma are presented, as per His Holiness's the explanation, which is extremely unique and so powerful for us, is that in the first turning of Dharma, according to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that the first turning of Dharma is where Buddha laid the ground, foundation of his teachings, of the reality, how we are trapped in samsara, and how we can possibly come out of samsara. So truth of suffering, and to the cause of suffering, the first two truths, knowing that, we come to know how we are trapped in samsara, and truth of the truth of cessation of suffering, and truth of the path leading to cessation. These two tell us how we can possibly come out of samsara. So this takes us to the four seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything's nature, emptiness, selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is absolute peace. So this, how to undo the miseries. In this connection, the Buddha taught the fourth seal, which is transcendent sorrow is absolute peace. You transcend sorrow and you attain the absolute peace. What does it mean by transcending sorrow? Transcendent sorrow means sorrow, miseries, they are not your true nature. They are not your Buddha nature. They are not your true nature. This is like the very clean water when soiled with the dirt, then the clean water which was originally there becomes dormant. They remain in dormant state. The moment the pollutants or the defilements are removed, then the purity once again comes back. So this purity exists in this water. Likewise, our mind transcends sorrow when the mental defilements are removed. So sorrow is transcended, which means sorrow or removed. When removed, then you experience the absolute peace with total fearlessness and infinite happiness. So with this in mind, His Holiness, how His Holiness delineates these three are the terms of Dharma. The first term of Dharma, the Buddha laid the ground for us to know what is meant by samsara, where we are now, and how we can possibly have a place where we can get out of samsara. So nirvana, samsara, both are presented in the first term of Dharma. Now the next question is, which do we choose? Samsara or nirvana? Nirvana meaning of total fearlessness, where all our tears stop. Every time we become older, say When we're in your 20s, 30s, when we become older, mentally we feel a little unhappy. Okay, now age is catching up. Then when you, in some cases, like you when you hit when you hit 40s, some cases when you hit 50s, depending on how good you are in your maintaining your body, physical exercises. Some people who are not so keen on physical exercises, the moment they reach age 40, they could feel the heaviness of the body. And for some people, when they reach age 50, they do a little bit of exercise. Age 50, they could see the happiness. And for some people, when they reach 60s, they feel the happiness. They say, even when you walk, we see the happiness is there. We are not as flexible as when we were younger. So this is all about the physical reality. And then we are all in the same boat. It's not like we're already in their 60s, 70s, 80s. They are unfortunate. The younger ones, we are very fortunate. No, we are in the same boat. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. So the point is that which do we want to choose? Samsara or nirvana? Nirvana is where all these limitations of the samsaric existence are being freed. That is nirvana. Of course, we'll choose nirvana or we choose Buddhahood. If this is what we choose, we have to do something. If we don't do anything, then we will never attain that. For example, say that no matter how much you recite, say the mantra, oh, may I become Nobel laureate in physics, may I become Nobel laureate in physics, may I become Nobel laureate in physics. No matter how many times you recite this mantra, you will never become a Nobel laureate in physics. You have to do something. You have to study physics. So likewise, when I say that, may I attain nirvana, may I attain Buddhahood, when I say that, we have to do something. What should we be doing? So here, the Buddha taught that say what you want to attain something means you want to discard something. What do you want to discard? You discard that's the attainment of what you see. Discarding samsara. To discard samsara, the Buddha said, no, this was not like, oh, I want to get out of samsara, I'm tired, I'll run away. No, this is not how the wise people understand things. I remember one time, it was like many years ago, perhaps 15 years ago. 15 years ago when I did not have these white hairs. And now the Tibet house, all these staff, all these are very young staff, and they don't have white hairs at the moment. So perhaps I was their age, a little older than their age, and there was a professor, very senior professor, and then he said that, so we were together in one conference, and we were very close friends. And he said, Geshe, you have to come to my place. I said, no, I already booked a room here. So that was the time when I was in Dharamsala, and I came here in Delhi for a conference. And I already booked a room in the restaurant, in a hotel or in a guest house. And he said, no, you must come with me. And he's a very close friend of mine. So I insisted, and he was also very unlikely. And then I said that, okay, just to make him a very, very senior and respected professor. So I accepted. I said, okay, but you have to inform your wife that I'm coming. And he said, yes, don't worry. Then after the conference, I was in his car. And then I told him that, hey, first you have to inform your wife that the two of us are coming. He said, no. On the way we can inform. I don't know why he was resistant, how he was reluctant. Then we drove somewhere in the middle. I reminded him. Actually, he should be telling me, okay, I'm going to tell my wife that you're coming with me. And I reminded him, you tell your wife now we two of us were coming. Then he called. And so I got a sense that wife said, okay. Then we reached the place. When we reached the place, reached the house, the professor was pushing me in the front. Actually, I'm his guest. He's my host. He should be taking me. He should lead the way. But he was pushing me. And then, to my surprise, his wife was waiting there at the the gate, not the gate, entrance. At the entrance with her two hands behind, like this, like a policeman. And then this, just from the demeanor of the wife, I could figure out that something is wrong. And I said, good evening. And she said, good evening, Dorji. This is not her style. Today, her style is very different. This is not her style. It's very different. Like two hands behind, as well as a policeman standing there and saying, good evening, Dorji. And something is wrong. And then I went in. Then the professor followed me. Okay. And then in the midst of some discussion, the professor was doing something else, wife was doing something else, and I was doing something else. And suddenly I meant to call the professor. So, and I called the professor so and so. Professor, okay, I'm not going to disclose the name. Professor A. Suddenly this wife blasted, saying that Dorji, he does not deserve to be called a professor. Then I realized, okay, now why the professor called me? He called me to shield him, right? As a protection, his protection or his bodyguard. Okay, then I realized, okay, this is why he was insisting to come with him. Okay. So why I was sharing this with you is that then the next day we were together on the dining table and we were just having some casual talks. And overall speaking, both of them extremely kind. And we somewhere the talk revolves on the real practical life, what after death and so forth. All the life and the questions were coming up. And then I talked about how samsara we have to pray, to make prayers that in the next life. And then this lady, the wife, said that no, I'll not come to samsara. I'm fed up with samsara. Actually, he was fed up with his wife, with the husband. So she said that I'm fed up with samsara, right? I'm not going to come back. Okay. So look, say for example, say you are in a prison and, oh no, I don't want to be in prison. No, this will not work. If your prison term is for 40 years, somehow either you complete the term or you talk to the superiors or the prison guard or the judges, or you find a case with the help of a lawyer and so forth to minimize the duration of the prison term. Otherwise, just by saying that no, I'll not stay in prison, it'll not make you not to stay in prison. Likewise, just by saying that I'll not come to samsara again. No, this will not help you. Where the cause of misery is there, the misery is inevitable. So the wise people, instead of saying that, no, I'll not come to samsara, I'm fed up. Instead of that, wise people track what is the cause of samsara, terminate the cause of samsara. This is very important. So having said this, I like to do one exercise with all of you. Okay, for the last 3-4 years, I did not come to to France. Now, I like to see how the French people are able to maintain your rigor of your the cognitive thinking. Okay, let's say that I'm going to share an anecdote, and some of them are true, some of them are not true. Don't take it too seriously. And at the end of the sharing, I will ask you my question, and you give me the answer. Okay, ready? If you're ready, raise hands. If you're ready, raise hands. Okay, you're all ready. Good. Okay. Now, the same. I live in Delhi. First fact. I live on the 3rd floor of the building. Second fact. And the Delhi in the month of May is very hot and dry. Third fact. And I have, due to moisture in my house, I have asthma problem. It's not a fact, don't worry. I'm just cooking up a story. Okay. Due to some moisture in my house, I have asthma problem. And I don't want to have an asthma problem. What should I do? What would be advice? Okay, this is my question to the French people. Raise hands. Who would like to give answer? Okay, okay. We have Venerable Chingla. Unmute, Venerable Chingla.
Oui. Bonjour Geshe-la, merci d'être là et nous donner de ces belles
Venerable Chingla, we
enseignements.
cannot hear you. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Please,
Ouais,
please. Now we can hear you.
donc, oui. Donc, je vais chercher d'où vient l'humidité. Si par exemple, mes voisins qui sont tout autour, s'il n'y a pas une fuite qui vient de de chez eux et qui me donne cette humidité avant que je parte chercher à l'extérieur, d'où ça vient.
Yes, Shimala. Okay, okay. Very good, Venerable Chingla. This is amazing. Venerable Chingla reminds me of 200 kilometers per hour. Venerable Chingla reminds me of 200 kilometers per hour. That was the first time in my life in a car, 200 kilometers per hour. It makes me remember impermanence. Venerable Chingla gave me a life experience of impermanence. Okay. Thank you, Venerable Chingla. Thank you for that. Yeah, I still remember that so vividly. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Cyril?
Yes, Venerable Geshe-la. I think the idea of Marie is very good. Maybe just searching for the water. Where is the water coming from? And yes, I think it's the best idea. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Cyril. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone who likes to help me? Who likes to give me some advice? How to get away from this problem? Raise hands. Anyone? More hands coming up, please. More hands. More hands. Huh? More hands. Okay, Martin. Martin, nice to see you again.
Moi, je
Martin,
proposerais de déménager tout simplement.
Ah oui, je proposerais de regarder chez moi d'abord s'il n'y a pas une fuite.
Okay. So actually, I have an asthma problem. It's not about the leaking water. I have an asthma problem. What should I do? This is my question. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. Liz and Jimmy.
Hello, Geshe-la. I will consult a doctor for treatment, maybe medication. I will see a doctor.
So which doctor? French doctor?
Any
In
doctor,
France?
the doctor I have access. My close doctor.
Dr. Patrick? Tenzi Shirola?
Medical doctor.
Okay. Medical doctor. Yes, Dr. Patrick is a doctor. He's a medical doctor. Venerable Tenzi Shirola. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Your name, Liz? Elizabeth?
Yes. Liz.
Okay. Liz, not Elizabeth.
No, Lisette. Liz for short.
Yes, Liz is short form of?
Lisette.
Lizette. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the Ostage? What advice would you give?
I was going to say actually the same thing as Liz, to seek a medical profession.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. The Ostage, thank you. Okay, Pamela, Venerable Pamela.
Oui, moi je conseillerais de déménager tout simplement.
Ah, c'est pas simple.
To move, okay. Okay. So, okay, good. Okay. So so then okay, to move is not that easy. In the first place, I have so many books, and the books have to all carry from top floor. There's no lift down, and then again wherever we don't know. And the hospital, yes, I can go, but the hospital will not. The doctors will not help me to remove the moisture from my house. Doctor may give me medicines. It actually happened one time. That was many years ago. And then let's say that Venerable Chingla and Cyril, they came to my house and said, Geshe-la, don't listen to others. Don't listen to the Pamela and to Osage. Instead, give us 5 minutes. So two of them checked my room. They see that in the water pipe, there is a fine crack there. From there is a say there's a moisture coming from this crack. It's not like water oozing out. It's not water oozing, but still the water is coming out, which I cannot see with my naked eyes, and that spreads over time, and therefore the moisture comes, and I start to have the asthma. So, then they would ask me, okay, Geshe-la, just wait. Venerable Chunla and Cyril said that, okay, just wait, and they bought the glue just for €2. Just for €2, they bought some glues, and they fixed the pipe, and the problem stopped. All the moisture stopped, and my asthma stopped. So I don't have to move my house. I don't have to go to hospital. Okay, so there, the thing is that in order to stop the miseries, we have to identify the cause of the miseries and stop the cause, and the miseries will automatically come to an end. Okay, how many agree with this? Raise hands. In a way, how many you agree with Venerable Chunla and Cyril? We all agree with two of them. Good. Okay, so likewise, His Holiness the Dalai Lama says that when we, now first of all, I say when we see that with the first turning wheel of Dharma, the Buddha laid out the reality. Here is samsara, here is nirvana, here is Buddhahood. What do you choose? Of course, we'll choose the Buddhahood and nirvana, where all the tears of life stops and the ease comes to our mind. So how to stop these tears? How to stop the tears of samsara? Identify the track, find the root of the samsara, which the Buddha identified as the what? Identified as ignorance. Let's not forget it. Ignorance is the root of all the miseries, and particularly within the layers of ignorance, the one ignorance which is responsible for all these problems is referred to as the self-grasping ignorance. Self-grasping ignorance. This is a very technical term, self-grasping ignorance. Get rid of this. How to get rid of this? How to get rid of this ignorance? Okay, let's say that we have we have an exam. So many of you, I see that you are sitting for the Nalanda studies, Nalanda study of Tibet House, and then you have to sit for the quiz, and you said, okay, now I have whole night to sit to practice, to learn, to revise the course, and then in the night, in the middle of the night, there's a power cut. There's a power cut, and because so dark, now you can't do anything. What do you do? Now then you pray, oh Buddha, please remove the darkness. Oh Jesus Christ, please remove the darkness. If the Buddha and Jesus Christ, if they are sitting next to you, they'll be very upset. What a stupid follower. Whereas if you light a candle, they'll be very happy. Oh, this girl is very smart. This is a very smart person. This man is very smart person. This venerable is very smart venerable. the Buddha and Jesus Christ will be very happy. So therefore, once you know that ignorance is the root of the miseries, how we have to remove the ignorance. How to remove the ignorance? We have to introduce the counterforce. Just as for the darkness, the counterforce is only introducing the light. Just as it is only through introducing the light that the darkness of ignorance, darkness can be eradicated, likewise by introducing the light of the wisdom, that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. So the next question is, what is that wisdom? To be introduced the counterforce to the ignorance. This wisdom, by the very definition, is the discerning mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. This is the wisdom. Your question next question is, what's the reality? So this reality, so from the first turning of Dharma, it takes us to establish the reality. To establish the reality, the Buddha taught the second turning of Dharma. Second turning of Dharma was taught primarily to establish what the reality is, so that wisdom can be activated. Next question is, okay, let's say that that two ways of serving food. One just say say in a very casual way, and one in a very organized way. Likewise, the wisdom, this wisdom, there are two kinds. This reality can be seen in two ways. One by the gross mind, and one by the subtle mind. Finally, when we become enlightened, we have to become enlightened on the gross level and the subtle level both. It's not that we become enlightened on the gross level and subtle levels we are still ordinary being. This is not enlightenment. So when you become enlightened, you should become enlightened in your mentally, you should be enlightened on all levels, gross and subtle. So when you see the reality with your subtle mind, automatically this entails that you already see the ultimate reality by your gross mind. In other words, first you have to see the ultimate reality with your gross mind, and then train it to see through the subtle mind. For that, we have to activate the subtle mind. Activate the subtle mind. So at the moment, we're using the gross mind. Now we have to learn how to activate the subtle mind, because that this wisdom to see the reality must be seen by your gross mind as well as subtle mind. In other words, when you see if you know quantum mechanics, if you quantum mechanics and relativity theory, it guarantees that you know the basic the Newtonian physics. You already know that. So when you are able to see the ultimate reality through your subtle mind, it already entails that you see the ultimate reality through your gross mind, which means that all the mental defilements are related not only with the gross minds, they are also related to the subtle mind. So to remove the mental defilements related to the subtle mind, you have to activate the subtle mind, let the subtle mind see the reality. So the ignorance on the subtle mind will be eradicated. So we need to activate the subtle mind. The subtle mind is what we call as the Buddha nature. The subtle mind, which you're going to activate, is known as the Buddha nature. So here comes the topic. So what is this? To know what the reality is, the second turn of Buddha Dharma was taught by the Buddha. To know what the subtle mind is, which to see the ultimate reality, to know this, the Buddha taught the Buddha nature in the third turn of Buddha Dharma. So this is how His Holiness the Dalai Lama link the first turn of Buddha Dharma with the second turn of Buddha Dharma to the third turn of Buddha Dharma, to make all these three turns of Buddha Dharma interrelated. So if you know the teachings of the Buddha in this context, how the three turns of Buddha Dharma, they're connected to each other, this is where you understand that the Dharma becomes very complete. Okay, so with this in mind, what constitutes the Four Noble Truths? We're not going to touch this here in this section, nor what constitutes ultimate reality is also not going to touch in great detail. Instead, we're going to touch what is this Buddha nature like? In the first place, what is Buddha nature? So this is what we're discussing. So it relates with the third turning Buddha Dharma. So in this context, and we have to know in the first place to say Oftentimes we see people so demoralized, depressed, anxietic, and low hopelessness and so forth. How many you at least once in a lifetime you have been through such a process, such mental state of feeling low, hopeless, sad, resents? We all have been through this. At times it's very demoralizing, very demoralizing. Say you look at the right side or the left side of the person, you don't talk to the person. And then to the right side, again you don't talk to that person. And then your mother, because you were angry towards these two people, then you unnecessarily you show anger towards your mother, and now you cannot even talk to your mother. And then when you go to your workplace, again you go very much agitated mind. You go there, somebody greets you, good morning, and then you just don't reply. Not that you are angry towards that person, but because you are agitated inside. And the other person says, what happened? She's so rude, he's so rude. And then the person becomes unhappy towards you and show anger towards you, and then you feel that. So everywhere you feel that the whole world is collapsing against, whole world is turning against you. You feel so hopeless and so low, heavy, no way out. But always remember, no matter what situation that each one of us we go through, we have the Buddha nature. We have the Buddha nature. No matter what situation that we go through, we have the Buddha nature. Whether you're male, female, educated, uneducated, young, old, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. Even if you're poor, it doesn't mean that you should surrender to everybody else. No, you have the Buddha nature. Everybody has the Buddha nature. So the next question is, so what is there if you have the Buddha nature? Why should we be feeling happy about? Why? Okay, so let's say that in the olden times, be in France, in England, in Japan, even nowadays, they have the descendants of the kings and queens. In England, even nowadays, descendants of kings and queens. In France, I don't know. They must be the descendants. Are they? Anna Sophie? Yes. So descendants were there. So in those days, when the monarchy's system was so active and alive, so vital, there a small boy or a small girl, as a little prince or a little princess, was considered so important. Why? So important. Why? Anyone? Why this little boy, little girl, referred to as the son, the son of the king or the daughter of the king, is considered so important? Why? Anyone? Quick. Quick. Anyone? Orje. Virginia, tell me.
They're important because they're going to be the next king, and they're going to have
Yes.
in their hand.
How many agree with Virginia? Raise hands. Because they are going to be the next king. Okay, good. So they are treated very important, very special. So who is more important, the king or Buddha? Okay, Sophie Lennon. Sophie, what is that? Minkardo. What? Sophie, huh? Sophie Levan. Sophie Levan, tell me who's more important, king or Buddha?
To me, is the Buddha for what the Buddha can bring to us.
So why? Why Buddha? Why?
For what the Buddha can bring to us in terms of like knowledge
what?
and guidance.
Okay, knowledge, guidance, perfect, very good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Who's more important, Buddha or king? Huh? Anyone? Anyone raise hands? Okay, Anna Sophie.
Oh, the Buddha.
Buddha, why?
because it can show us how to help every certain being in the most effective way.
Okay, very good. Do you agree with me that we respect somebody, somebody is respected, generally speaking, for knowledge? Yes. We respect Albert Einstein for his knowledge. We respect His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his compassion and knowledge. And we respect some people for money. We respect some people for power, right? In short, we can say that people generally respect somebody else either for knowledge, for compassion, or for power. You agree? And the king has what? King has the power. Knowledge, not sure. Compassion, not sure. But some kings have amazing knowledge, some kings have amazing compassion. But for sure, why people respecting him or her is because of the power. And alongside, if knowledge and compassion there, respect will be even deeper. But Buddha has the ultimate of all three. Buddha means ultimate knowledge, ultimate wisdom, and ultimate wisdom, ultimate compassion, and ultimate power. In what way power? In what way? Say the king at the most can take care of one's own country people. Even that, the person cannot do it effectively. For example, like every country today, they are beggars. They are homeless people. And there are people who are suffering from what is known as the domestic violence, so forth. But which means that the kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers, they cannot address these problems. And even if they are to actually meet, they cannot address these problems. But when you become a Buddha, you have that capacity. And of course, your karmic connection, these are required. From your side, you are ever ready to benefit anybody at any time. And that too, simultaneously. Say, Buddha Shakyamuni was teaching Heart Sutra in Rajgir, that is the east of India, northeast or east. And whereas simultaneously, Buddha Shakyamuni was giving teaching on Kalachakra, Shri Kalachakra in South India, simultaneously. So there are many anecdotes from which we'll come to know that when you become a Buddha, it's not just Buddha Shakyamuni all the time, but when you become a Buddha, when your potential manifests, that you can have the capacity to benefit everybody simultaneously, somebody in France, somebody in Paris, somebody in other parts of France, and somebody in India, somebody in the ocean. You can benefit everyone simultaneously. And of course, what is required is that you have the potential, that you should have the connection with the others. So, Arya Maitreya very beautifully encapsulated this concept that was a benefit when you become a Buddha. He said that even if the god of the rain is just a metaphor, even if the god of rain showers rain to the whole land without partiality, where there's a seed will germinate, where there's no seed, nothing will happen. So where nothing is happening doesn't mean that there's a shortage of rain. No, rain was there, but the seed was absent. So likewise, the Buddha's blessings in the form of benefit is equally there for all of us. But where the seed, karmic connection, the seed of karmic connection is there, these beings can germinate, grow. And others without the karmic connection will not feel the benefit. Okay, so this is what it is to become the benefit of becoming Buddha. So that is that each one of us, we have this potential. We have, just as a little boy, the prince, the princess, they're considered so important in those days. Each one of us, we are in fact more important than those people on the ground, that we have the potential to become the greater than the kings and queens. We have the potential to become the Buddha, to benefit all the beings. Therefore, you are very precious. No matter who you are, No matter how, who, for example, say, in the olden times, everywhere in the world, it's not just in one place or other place, everywhere in the world, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, male, the, the male chauvinism was predominant in many places. So this is a clear indication that these people have no idea of the Buddha nature. If somebody knows about the Buddha nature, will become very confident that everybody has the same potential. Not that one member of the community is more superior and the other is inferior. No, there's no superior inferior. Everybody is equally important. This confidence will come to us when you feel the gravity, when you feel the knowledge that there is Buddha nature within everyone. Okay, so with this in mind, what is that Buddha nature like? This is a question. So for this, in the text, which is known as Uttara Tantra, in the first place, in terms of Buddha's own teachings, you see in the third turning wheel of Dharma, where the Buddha taught about the Buddha nature at great length, in response to a question asked by Bodhisattva there. And then they commented upon by Maitreya in the text Uttara Tantra, in Tibetan, Gyulama. So where the Maitreya talked about in Tibetan it says Zosang Kuni Toshita Dishi Nier Meshita Ryu China Lujenkun Tautu Sanje Nyingbo Chen. Saying that everybody has the capacity to become enlightened. Everybody has the capacity to get rid of all the tears of samsara, have the potential to become fully awakened. Why? Reasons were given. First, the Buddhas, they say the activities of benefiting beings is forever illuminated, is forever existent. I'd like to share one anecdote about this, where we even say, for example, here now in Delhi is cold, and now we feel that say earlier when I entered this room, it was little chill, what do you call it? It is little cold, freezing, and now it's more pleasant. Why? I asked the IT staff to put on the heating system. Now with the heating system, we all feel the pleasant feeling. And if you don't go to extent of the dozing off, right? Because of this heat, cozy, dozing off. Okay, so what I'm saying is that any pleasant feeling that we get, there's involvement of the Buddha's blessings. How do you know that? No, the heating system, I feel very pleasant now. It's because of the heating system. This heating system, Tibet is paying, Buddha is not paying, Tibet is paying. This is all our naivety. Say, Buddha's blessings, we get Buddha's blessings in the form of all the benefits that we're getting. For example, good health. Or say and that is not only with people who say that, oh, I'm a Buddhist, then the Buddha blesses you. Oh, you are not Buddhist. Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot bless you. No. Before Buddha, whether you claim yourself Buddhist, non-Buddhist, it doesn't matter. You are samsaric being. Right? You're a samsaric being. You're suffering. Anybody who's suffering, Buddha is there to help. So, Buddha benefits us. Every tiny benefit that we get, from the biggest of the benefit to the smallest of the benefit, there's always the involvement of the Buddha's contributions. Buddha's blessings are there, without which these things can never happen. So I'll give you one anecdote, share this anecdote with you. This is too naive. Okay, I'll share this anecdote. These are very helpful. So with this, then you'll see that, okay, this is very possible. So that's where I see that, okay, the good food that I'm enjoying is because I paid for this. And I got this opportunity to pay because that I worked hard. So you worked hard. There are so many people working so hard, but they're being paid less than you. And then many people, they pay the same thing, but they don't get the same privilege as you, what you get, and so forth. So it's not simply because of that the effort that you put in. So I'd like to share this anecdote. It's a very interesting story. There was one of my friends, and who during his childhood, he had a very difficult childhood, not from the family. The family is extremely cordial family, very warm family, but because of the poverty. And he had a huge family with, I think, 5 or 6 siblings through their parents. And the father again had brothers, sisters who again have their own children. It's a huge, the joint family. And suffering from acute poverty. Then gradually, somehow, this little boy became grown up, like age 22, 23. He got a decent government job. Government job means is very prestigious, and then he also had a very stable salary, and because of which, and then gradually, due to the promotion, he was promoted to become like a small governor in the local place, which means that even the rules, regulations, and so forth, they are all to be under his control, and he became quite then famous. And his uncle, who was his father's younger brother, of course, with the acute experience of acute poverty. So this uncle at that point, they were way improved, and the uncle was driving a very small bike, mini bike, and for the bike, the gas that he puts every day is very tiny amount, just for 2 rupees. 2 rupees is like maybe, what is that? The US, no, the euro, maybe 100th of a euro, 100th of 1 euro. He was just getting, and which he gets only a small amount of the petrol. He puts it, and then it's just sufficient for a few hours. And then again, next day he comes. Then this nephew, who is now in a certain position, he came to know about this. Then he went to the gas station, and gas station owner, he was very honored to see that their boss came, the boss of the whole village came to and he was so honored. Then received him with great respect and said, "Sir, what can I do?" Then he said that my uncle comes to buy gas to buy petrol from you every day. Oh, which one? Then he's described, yes, oh yeah. That person, he also always comes to buy a very small amount of petrol every day. And he said, this is my uncle. So from tomorrow, you do one thing. So whenever my uncle comes to buy petrol, you fill his bike, the petrol tank, full, and keep a register. Don't let him know that it's between 2 of us. Keep a register. In the register, you just say, on this date, I filled 5 liters of petrol in your uncle's tank, the bike. So like you keep a record, and every month I will come to reimburse the cost of the petrol. So this was the deal between the nephew and the petrol pump owner. And the uncle was fascinated. So now from the next day, he comes with the same amount, just like 1/10 of the euro. And he gets a full tank of the petrol, which will survive him for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, very easily, very comfortably. And he was wondering, where is this coming from? I just paid 2 rupees. Now they're giving me a full tank of the petrol. And he did not know. So he passed away. Even before he passed, he did not know who was actually making this happen. He thought that it is his own, some luck. It's not luck. Somebody is doing it. So likewise, he does not know where this benefit is coming from. He thought that it is his luck. So likewise, each one of us, all the benefit with that, there's a hidden hand hidden hand of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And this will become clear to us only when we practice bodhicitta within ourselves. Practice bodhicitta, we start to feel the bodhicitta, and on that basis, we see that your Buddha nature is becoming more and more vibrant. When you feel that, then you will see that, no doubt, it is like the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are like your parents, like your mothers, and they would be happy to do anything with your knowledge, without your knowledge. The benefit should be there. It's not about the credits that they're seeking. They don't want any credit from you. It's only that you should be happy, that you should not suffer. So this is this is known as the Buddha's the activities being very powerful, very powerful to benefit everywhere. So I'll say the perfect power, the perfect knowledge, and perfect compassion. Whoever has this is the greatest of everything. So therefore, your Buddha nature, you have that Buddha nature, awakening which will make you the most powerful being in the whole universe. That is Buddha. So therefore, you are very important. Like this little boy who's being respected so much because that he was going to become the king in the future. Likewise, you are so important because you have the Buddha nature to become the most compassionate, the wisest of the person, the wisest of the people in the universe, and the one with the greatest of power to benefit all the beings instantly. So you have that power. So that is Buddha nature. So next question is, how do I know that? Wow, that's amazing. So at least even to hear that is very healing. How do I know that I have this Buddha nature? Okay, so, sorry. Okay, so with this, we'll stop here, and at 3 o'clock we'll come back, and then we'll go into what is this Buddha nature in actuality, and how to awaken this. Okay, let's come back. Let's recite the house rule mantra 3 times. We'll do the meditation prayer later on in the next session. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, see you after 1.5 hours.